another glorious Monday. And you know what that means? This is TJ Denzer, news editor for Shacknews, host of Indielicious, where every Monday we check out the latest and most interesting indies out there. Today I'm not alone. Usually I run this solo, but today I have some friends with me for the game that we're actually doing. Today we are playing Tadpole Treble Encore, and we have developers from Bitfinity here. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hi guys, I'm Matthew Taranto. I'm the artist and composer of Tadpole Treble Encore.
And I'm Michael Taranto, the level designer and one of the producers of Tadpole Treble Encore.
Fantastic. And last but not least, of course, down there at the bottom, I have my buddy, reviews editor for Shacknews.com, Blake Morse, here to join me for this wonderful special Indielicious.
It's okay. I can be the least. I can be the least. I understand.
Never the least.
I'm just here to help with, getting Q&A stuff done and looking cool.
Blake, you're never the least in our hearts.
I know. I'm never that cool. It's okay.
You're never the least in our hearts.
Aww. At least in the hearts. I'm not the least.
But Mike, Matt, this game has actually been out on Steam for a little bit as Tadpole Treble, but you all just had your maiden voyage, so to speak, into the Nintendo Switch world with Tadpole Treble Encore.
That's right.
Yeah, we're super psyched.
It was a little tricky because initially we had released on the Wii U in addition to Steam, but we had released in 2016, like late 2016, like maybe 3 months before Nintendo actually showed the Switch. So the built-in audience at that point was pretty scattered. So we're happy to finally release it on a Nintendo system that's got a much bigger audience, I guess.
And the sort of style behind this game, it is basically like it's a musical game, but you've got sort of the story going on. It's about a little tadpole that is trying to find their way home, and you sort of play along the lines of musical bars as the music plays out in the game. And it would probably be easier to just like give a little show of what I'm talking about. You guys actually made something a little special for Indielicious, which I want to show off, and it actually shows this game in action. So this is...
Yeah, let's get a quick little sample.
Yeah.
I have to say it's Matthew's greatest work.
Do we give you a challenge when we sent over?
It was a bit of a challenge. Now, it was originally longer, but then my computer crashed and I lost all of it. So I had to very quickly make a truncated version using the Switch's video save feature, which limits me to 30 seconds. So I've compressed this song into a 30-second nugget for your enjoyment.
All right, well, let's take a look at like some of what you can do with your custom level designing tools here.
Alrighty.
Before we jump into it.
So this is Tadpole Treble Encore's level designer with a little custom work for a little-known song called "Just What I Needed." And
now in tadpole form.
And bring it back to the main screen here. And that was made with the end-game level editing tools, correct?
That's right. The main game, you go on an adventure through different levels, and each song is its own stage. But there's also a composition mode where you can choose from the notes at the top and the other features of the stage, such as bamboo and cymbals and things that you hit. And make your own song. It's all built into the system. You can put your instruments wherever you want them. You put your sharps and flats, and there you go. You have just what you need, if you will, for making any song that you want, basically.
And just there is a nod though that I wanted to mention. There's a bass for bass.
Oh yeah, that's sort of a visual pun of sorts.
And then Matthew, isn't there a dog bone for the undo button?
Yeah, that's because this whole feature was basically inspired by one of my favorite custom creators when I was growing up, which is Mario Paint. Had its own music song editor, and I always found that a lot of fun. I would make a lot of songs in that, and we wanted to just incorporate a lot of that user friendliness into this new system while adding a few more bells and whistles, like being able to raise your notes up at half a step or down half a step or up an octave or what have you.
And flats and sharps too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do I get this onto my phone? How do I make that my ringer now? That's what I want to know.
I had kind of a tricky time getting it from my phone onto the computer in the first place, so I might not be the best place to go for that.
Well, we do, for the Steam version, we do have Workshop where you can share with friends. Also, the Switch can save videos, so you can technically move it from the Switch to
like Twitter or
right.
Yeah. As long as it's 30 seconds. Found out.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious. Were you guys influenced at all by like the Mario Paint step sequencer from back in the day?
Oh yeah. Mario Paint was like, it did a great job mixing, like taking something complex, which is composition, and putting it in a way that's easy to digest. You know, they have very simple, instruments right at the top. You just drag and drop them where you go. You could play back at any time and see how it sounds. So it's definitely something that's following along those lines, I think.
I hate to cut in here, but one thing, Indylicious isn't just about talking about games. We actually also play these games on stream, and I actually am going to cut over. Of course, this is a rhythm game, and rhythm games require a little bit of concentration, which is why I have my buddy Blake here to help me out with this, because it might be a little bit difficult for me to concentrate on questions and talking and playing at the same time. I have had some time. I have had some time with it, just so you know. But
oh, good.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna try to not embarrass myself too much here.
Don't suck.
You blow this, TJ, and I'm gonna just hate you forever.
Please don't kill Baton. Well, there's our intro, Tadpole Pond. We wanted there to be a tutorial, so that's pretty intuitive for the player. We didn't want there to be like push A to whatever. So the first thing you have to do is break free of the egg. So you have
that teaches the player the main action button, which is how you interact with basically everything.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now, real quick, I can't actually see.
Oh,
what
Matthew, if you go to Twitter, you can get it. Yeah.
All right.
So
sorry, that will help.
I'm watching him play and see how he does.
Oh, on Twitch. Yeah. You mean Twitch, right?
Twitch, yeah, my bad. Twitch.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Whatever they call these days.
The confounded internets.
Shacknews on Twitch. Follow us today.
There we are. Okay. Excellent.
Shacknews on Twitch. Follow us today.
Yeah.
I should
Well, probably mute the stream.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
probably. Oopie.
Got it.
Oh.
All right, so I guess we can give you some sort of running commentary if you'd like. This is our easygoing first level. You got your parents up there. We thought it was kind of an intuitive way to teach the player, because they're literally teaching the tadpole how to play the game. So we're kind of introducing elements one at a time, and hopefully, there you go. You seem to be in the hang of it.
TJ's got the rhythm inside of him.
Nice.
He's passionate.
I'm not like super Dance Dance Revolution level, but I do know my way around Rhythm Gamer too.
Yeah, well, and it's a little more forgiving here because you don't have to hit the notes; you are avoiding the notes, which was kind of a big point of contention early on. We were kind of wondering, is it going to be too easy if you can avoid hitting the notes and you don't have to be in certain places? But then we added, that's why we added all those rhythmic elements, like the yellow things you hit, and stuff that multiplies your score and such.
Yeah, and the objects are also color coordinated. So you collect everything that's purple or pinkish. You dodge the darker objects, and you collect the yellow, and you hit the yellow objects as well.
Yeah. Avoid the spiky things, get the pink things, hit the yellow things.
Right. He's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I think it makes it more accessible, honestly, to be able to like it's a game about like dodging. It's almost like playing a side-scrolling shmup,
Right.
but without the bullets. Like you just gotta maneuver.
Right. It's sort of like a bullet dodging style. We did introduce the Tadpole, the treble charge, which he can use whenever it's activated.
By holding down the, if you hold down the tail button, you need to give yourself a little bit of space, but then you could kind of break through the rocks.
Nice. And then, where did the tadpole come from? Like, what made you decide that the tadpole was the perfect character?
Sure.
Well,
like before the
Michael,
the name.
You want to answer?
No, go ahead, Matthew. I know Baton, or the name Baton we did from Baton Rouge, because we're originally from Baton Rouge. But go ahead, Matthew.
Well, that's where our name came in. But as far as like the creature itself, we knew there weren't any like famous tadpole characters, so I thought, why not fill that void? Oh, there you go. You get snatched up, and there she goes. That's the end of our adventure.
That's our name.
Man, that was short and sad.
We knew we wanted a marine creature, and I thought, tadpoles are. I've always enjoyed frogs, so having a tadpole that'd be kind of a fun little vulnerable creature.
It does also go into that metamorphosis. Sorry to interrupt, Matthew, but that metamorphosis phase of developing or changing as well. Because we want there to be change to the character as the character develops. There is actually a lot of character change as the game goes on. She gets more bold. She gets more courageous. We thought that'd be kind of nice, even though it's only like a 2-day journey.
I do love
one of the more comic scenes of the game.
Yeah, I do love that sort of like comic book style, because like it is worth mentioning, y'all have worked on a webcomic before, correct?
That's right. Well, I have. I don't know about Michael over there.
No, I've seen him work on it.
He did that one comic whenever I had the family each draw their own comic for the week. He made
I don't draw very well.
So I did a Nintendo webcomic for 6 years called Brawl in the Family. We did 600 of those, and I wanted to kind of, I guess, bring over some of that audience and expand into the world of video games. That's kind of how this project got started.
Nice. So this is your first game?
Yep.
That you guys and you I mean you guys are siblings, right?
Yes, we're brothers.
Yeah.
He's the older brother. I am the younger.
So I mean,
but we both have always wanted to work on a game, and that made for a good opportunity. Once I finished Brawl in the Family, I thought, we can kind of we could try to do a Kickstarter and actually have a shot at fulfilling that goal and making a pretty solid game for our first effort.
Well, we come from a very musical family. Like our dad's written musicals and our mom's played in bands and stuff like that. So we knew music, we love music, and we love video games. So we knew that our first game, we definitely had to do our true loves, like music and, essentially a music adventure. So we focused on that. That's kind of our first game. We wanted something that was universal, that you can just pick up and go. So I think we've achieved that with our first game here.
Yeah, one of the things we wanted to focus on with the game is having each stage kind of stand out on its own, and stand out from the crowd so that it doesn't feel too repetitive, because you're playing with the music, so we can't like reuse songs really, or else the level layout would be the same, the note layout. So.
Yeah, and I think, Matthew, how do we end up developing a level? We did theme first, or did we?
We would, I think the way, it's been a while, but I think when we originally came up with the levels, we thought of a bunch of different ideas for water levels, like things that would make sense for water levels, how to get a good variety in them. And then when we fleshed those out a little bit, we thought, okay, what would be a good type of song to feature in this stage. And for instance, this one, Trout Tributary, it's kind of the beginning of her adventure, so it's got this Magnificent Seven thing going on. And yeah, I got to write kind of this sort of Western, like, epic kind of song, which was fun to do.
Nice. Did you always know it was going to be like original compositions, stuff like that?
Yeah, that's always been the goal, because I really like writing music, and uh-oh.
That was partially my fault. Is it looking okay on the stream, or is that just me?
It's looking a little
choppy there.
On my end, I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on y'all's end, but it looks a little blocky to me.
Let's see, TJ, how many frames per second are you taking it in as?
OBS did a bunch of updates recently.
Uh-oh. Never update before a stream.
First level looked good.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me run it one more time.
Our game is not that choppy.
Yeah. This is absolutely on my end, and definitely not on the game's end.
At least I don't. I hope it's not.
Yeah, good news to me. What a way to find out. It's well, good luck. Swimming through this.
Maybe I'm gonna try to unvideo me. Maybe it's by the video. See that?
Michael, are you breaking Tadpole Treble?
I don't think so, but I can always do less bandwidth going that way. Maybe that'll help.
See, I don't know how the computer stuff works. I just draw the pictures and write the notes.
I
think I know a way to maybe fix this if we can go back to the group shot really quick.
Sure.
Sure.
All right. And then TJ, all you gotta just try going to the preferences for the video capture, and see what the frame rate is.
Oh.
And while TJ's doing that, let's talk a little more about Tadpole Treble Encore. So, what's new for Encore? Like, what have you guys added for the Switch version that wasn't on the previous versions?
Matthew?
Oh, well, the biggest thing is a new stage. We wanted to. The original game got a lot of good reviews, which we're really happy with. But one of the common complaints was that it was a little short. So we thought, okay, well, we'll extend it a little bit, add a new stage. And the other complaint that we got was that the final boss was like too hard. It didn't quite prepare the player in the way that we wanted. So with this new stage, we kind of addressed that. It appears right before the final boss. It was a lot of fun to make because I got to sing a song, and pretty much any time that I get to like sing during the game, I really enjoy doing that because it's very goofy, it's very playful, and I get to write all these ridiculous lyrics. So there's a stage right before the last boss. And of course, that comes with the bevy of unlockables that each stage has. They each have 5 medals, one for getting an S rank, one for getting the challenge fly, one for getting an F rank, which is being very bad, like in a skillful way. So you don't die, but you get a very low score, and that unlocks the developer commentary. And we've added a new unlockable for the bubbles that you get, since there are more bubbles now due to the new stage. And everything just looks better. It looks a lot cleaner than it did on the Wii U, and it runs a lot smoother. In fact, there was a loading animation that this is kind of a double-edged sword, because I really like this loading animation. It was of a tadpole turning into a frog, then jumping into a pond, then there was another tadpole turning into a frog. It would just loop endlessly. But our programmer eliminated all the loading, so that animation is gone. So on the one side, I mean, I do miss the animation, but it's good that you could just jump right in now and not have that at all, because I mean, players wouldn't see it. It's very quick. So
right.
It's
we also added
a running long version.
We also added a Grandioso final song. There's a Grandioso.
Oh yes, that's the new final unlockable. Is my masterpiece and the greatest thing you'll ever hear me write. So don't miss out on that. That's accessible in the music player.
It does look like I cleared it up a little bit.
Yeah, it looks good now.
Yeah, it's moving along smoothly.
It was my laptop screaming for help.
I wanted to know a little bit of humor there when that fish got grabbed by the bear.
Ah, yeah.
Right. We wanted to show that there was
surprise.
always, a bigger fish basically after you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I mean, you did all right. Not
Yeah.
too bad.
We got a
There was
C.
no S rank, but I mean, you did all right. So
I
that's our stage.
I could have done better, but that was me looking back and forth between stream and making sure it's not bad. Because I do want to do this game justice.
Yeah. Well, considering the circumstances, I think Baton's doing all right.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah, it's looking good. I'm not seeing like any drop frames really or anything anymore, Teach. I would say maybe move us down to the bottom corner so we're not taking up.
Oh yeah, because she's often swimming.
Right
there.
now you're kind of covering Baton a little bit.
Oop.
Yeah, she's not as much in this level. Well, still a little bit in this level.
That's,
Yeah, I think bottom right would probably be best for that turtle's coming after you.
Yeah, it wants a nibble.
This is our first boss fight of sorts. This is Walt the turtle, and he's named after the waltz that the song is in 3/4 time.
Oh, I see why you put it.
Yeah, so everything in this, every creature in this game is named after some musical term or.
Goodness gracious. There we go. That will work, I think.
Yeah, you can put it top left. There you go. So this way you don't cover up the.
Sure.
Or Matthew's beautiful art. Matthew, did it take you forever to draw Baton wiggling?
Some of that I got a little help on. Some of the trickier animations
Actually,
we had some.
Yeah, let's retry.
I did probably about 80% of the art in this game. So
Yeah, for the most part, it was just you guys with a little bit of outside help.
Yeah,
we had our biggest team that we had during production was around 9 people. So it depended upon where we were in the production of the game. When we were really content heavy and content driven, then we had a bigger team. But once we got to the QA and the, once we got to the actual, like the beginning, I guess the beginning part of video game design is a little bit, it's almost like a curve, it's your bigger team is going to be in the middle when you're really creating the game. You give them different tasks and you kind of branch it out. So you make sure things aren't being produced, but also they're not being produced by multiple people and affecting the source code.
As the first boss, Walt here is pretty easygoing. He's not actually trying to bite Baton. He's just biting those little scumballs that are floating around in his pipe. So as long as you stay away from those, you should be okay.
The first boss is just accidentally chomping at you. Eventually, we start getting bosses that actively go after Baton. We wanted to kind of introduce, an enemy that is going to be just attacking around the general area. You just need to make sure you're out of that area.
Just to kind of get the idea that there's really no safe space out there for you.
Right, and that you're so insignificant that you're being looked over by a lot of these creatures at first, and then you become more significant later on. It's also to drive the character.
So there's definitely like an ideal line in the game to to get all the pickups, but usually takes a few playthroughs to see those. And there's a little bit more player agency when you use the treble charge, because then you can kind of forge your own path. And that was something Michael actually pushed for, that I think was a good idea. Oh, here's the end. Bonk.
You always gotta have branching paths.
Gets a little too.
Yeah. You got a B, TJ. That's like better than I ever did in school.
That's better than your last C you got.
I'm proud of you.
I gotta do good at the game or I'll get in trouble.
Yep.
Here's our retro
treble.
Treble. There you go.
Matthew, did you coincidentally make the level look like a Super Nintendo controller? Or
That
was the level
totally a coincidence. That was not intentional.
Oh, okay.
I was just throwing random D-pad shaped rocks around. All right, so this one is clearly our homage to everything growing up that we played. Let's see how many you can spot. This started off just as the background level, and like the background elements were 8-bit, but then we started replacing elements one by one to make them blocky until we replaced Baton herself and all her animals.
Eventually, we started replacing so much it looked out of place that they look normal. So everything is 8-bit now in this stage. The bubbles, the food, the bamboo. We're just like, yeah, just go with it. And then eventually the sound effects. I think we even did sound effects.
We changed some of the sound effects.
We may mix a couple of Mega Man style, and lasers and stuff like that in there, and then
the symbols explode into like little particles. I always like that NES particle effect that you see in like games like Battletoads and remember the game where you did it? It's like
man,
Captain Skyhawk did something like that.
Captain Skyhawk did, yep. Rareware. I guess they weren't Rareware when Captain Skyhawk was out.
West or something, I think.
Yeah, but yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, there's a duck. Yeah, see there. Thing. Video games.
You got to hunt for that duck.
Yeah.
You can hit the duck. You can hit it. So
this get points.
When you get the duck,
you sure can.
You can actually hit it and get points. There you go.
There it is.
The bestiary mentions these ducks get sniffed out by chuckling hounds. So
nice.
Little homage there.
You know, it feels to me like there's a lot of like chiptune influence here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the name is Chiptune Lagoon, so you're gonna get a little bit of But we had to add the sound effect when you get in the pipe. It goes waka 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 like that.
So, missed that one.
There you go.
Man. Are you guys big on the chiptune scene?
Well, I don't have much experience writing electronic music. I write more like I don't know. I guess show tune style song. I don't even know how to describe it. Kind of bouncier, very instrumentally kind of filled songs. I don't have as much experience with electronics, like electronic type music. So this was a fun challenge for me.
I love chiptunes. I think anything in chiptune sounds better than the original. So like I was listening to Toto's Africa in chiptune, and it was amazing.
A little bit.
A D?
Yeah. D for dang good.
You don't have to listen to it. You can just play.
Good. Oh, you guys get to hear my dulcet tones. Speaking of musicals, this next stage is my homage to all things Frank Sinatra.
Nice.
And it's technically a musical game, I would say, like an actual musical, because there are 4 sung songs. Well, 6. There are 6 sung songs, but 2 of them are secret.
And that comes from Matthew. What was the 64 game that influenced that? Do you remember?
Was it Conquer?
Clay Fighter.
Great mighty poo. Oh, the Clay Fighter. Yeah. Clay Fighter starts off with Clay Fighter. Da, 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 da.
Clay Fighter. And we're like, man, that is cool. We're like, they're actually singing in the video game. We're like, we gotta do that.
Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut, which is now this really valuable cartridge because it was only available as a rental from Blockbuster, which was kind of crazy when you think about it. But yeah, now if you own that,
back in the day,
you're in the money, buddy.
And you could only rent Final Fight with Guy at Blockbuster.
Oh, really?
That's the NES version.
That's nuts.
The SNES version only had like Mike Hager and who's the other guy? Who's the third one?
Cody.
The guy version was only rentable. See, I didn't know that. That's funny.
They call it Final Fight, Guy.
Final Fight, Guy.
Final Fight, Guy. All right, buddy. It's Final Fight, Guy.
All right, let's listen to some Dolman. Let's listen to a beautiful song.
Alrighty.
Looks like you got medals too in here.
Yeah, I can go over those in a little bit. I'm gonna hush up for a minute so we can hear me, I guess.
But sort of like we'll just get
nice.
Oh, you got a little singing tadpole to help you along, huh?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I wonder if anything's gonna happen to him.
No.
But just going back to the chiptune, because you guys have like, you know, you can make your own audio levels here. Do you think that like, or would you like to see people sort of be composing their own tunes, like in the song maker?
Absolutely. I mean, with Workshop and Steam, you can actually download people's songs through Steam. So for us, that was kind of the draw of it, was to create your own songs and share them with friends. So.
All right, Teach. It's getting a little funky again, Teach.
Oof.
I don't know if you gotta pause it.
I can pause for a sec.
Just smack your laptop. Just smack it hard.
Oh, it's trying so hard to run so many things at once.
So hard, you got so far, but in the end, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but going back to the thing about the composition, one of the cool things about the way this game is laid out is that when you make a song, it's not just a song; it's also a stage. So we wanted to make sure the player still had their choice of picking, putting obstacles and things that were unrelated to the notes themselves to be able to add more variety to their stage as well.
What are some of the cooler things you've seen the community do so far?
Well, they did an Undertale, Megalovania.
For a while, everyone was just making Undertale songs. We launched in 2016, so that was like the big thing. But we had put together a fan video of that's Michael singing as those frogs, by the way. He did it. Yeah, blah blah. We put a couple fan videos together that were compilations of fan songs on our YouTube at that time, and there were a lot of cool things there.
Nice. And now, what are these little creatures called? I can't remember. The little lizards.
They're mud puppies.
That is I think it's a mud guppy, or it's kind of like a mud puppy. Yeah, it's like a type of axolotl or something. That was a Kickstarter reward tier, was to add in a creature of your choosing, and one guy was like, put one of these in. I was like, okay, I'm making that thing.
So that's all just a fan choice right there?
That's a fan choice, yeah, for one of the reward tiers.
Pretty cool.
So Sonata is starting to back off now. He's getting the picture. But he says, come back and I'll sing it to you again.
Aw, that's so sweet. Sing to me.
We don't have any actual code on Sonata that moves and follows you, but we have it to where you follow the bonus, which makes it look like he follows you. So we kind of trick the player that way. If you go for the bonus, Sonata will follow you where you go. But it was kind of just there.
It looks like he's singing right to you as you move.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because of that line I was talking about, that ideal line of playing. Oh, we got another little cutscene here.
Uh-oh.
Dang! That's a big frog.
Trying to... Yeah. Oh, man, look at that big old toad. But he's going to be your friend, right? Cause,
he is.
Yeah, he's one of your...
Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Yeah, we wanted to add a little extra, a little extra aspect to the game in terms of a store of sorts and those extra side challenges. So that's where Etude came into play.
Nice.
Yeah, he provides a little bit of information too. So he's kind of like a little bit of a frog Merlin or a frog Obi-Wan in the middle of your adventure.
Yeah, this guy was fun because I got to really, there's not much dialogue in this game, so I really got to write a bunch of different optional things.
Sort of
watch his flapping mouth.
And how difficult was it to kind of get from point A to point B with the story mode, as far as just kind of trying to tell something cohesive that played into the levels as well?
It was pretty tough because originally we made we had to go through two different world maps, because after a while I was like, this doesn't make sense going from this stage to this stage across the map. I had to kind of redo it and figure out how the levels fit together, and we had to bake that into the world map and adjust based on difficulty, so it didn't feel like there was some huge spike.
We also put in the time change in the game. So for example, you may go into one stage and it's daytime. That means your next stage needs to be dusk, and then the next stage has to be night. So it actually goes by time as well.
Yeah, the game takes place across, I think, 2.5 days or so, and you can kind of follow the actual timing of everything from stage to stage.
Mm-hmm.
There is also a set piece at the end of each stage, which shows the next stage. So it kind of connects your stages that way as well.
Oh yeah, that was inspired by Tropical Freeze, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the Wii U. One of my favorite platformers.
Oh, that's a wonderful game.
Oh wait, you know what? Not Tropical Freeze. The previous one, Donkey Kong Country Returns, where you would go when you entered one new world. There would always be some transition from the previous world. Like if you're going to the forest and the caves, you start off in the caves and you blast out from a tree trunk into the forest. I always thought that was really cool and gave the world a little more cohesion.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Also,
like you see those red flowers at Etude's Grove. Those you can see those at the end of the previous level because you're entering that grove.
Right. What about you mentioned Donkey Kong? What about Donkey Konga? What is Donkey Konga? You guys.
Yeah, I guess the rhythm aspect is like Donkey Konga. Donkey Konga.
I love that game.
That game I always beat my brother in. I want to go on record saying I always beat my brother in Donkey Kong.
That's accurate. I think that is quite the lie. I still have my bongos. They're in my kitchen cabinet. My wife hates them.
You're in the kitchen cabinet?
Yeah, well, you know, we have a little extra kitchen cabinet space, so why not put my DK bongos in there? I got 3 pairs of them.
Makes sense.
In case he ever does a luau, he has a set piece.
Yeah, or someone comes over and says, "Hey man, I really want to play 3-player Donkey Konga." I'm totally ready. I'd be like, now is my time.
The wonderful thing about this game is that, like, you know, Donkey Kong, the last Donkey Kong, one of the best features of it was a new funky mode. Since this is a musical game, it's technically almost always in funky mode.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
Baton is always funky.
Just like me.
But I guess we could have added Funky Kong to, you know, for players that were struggling, they could just play as Funky swimming through the area. I'm sure Nintendo would have loved that.
Where's the Funky Tadpole?
Funky Tadpole. That's
like
a Tadpole.
Bootsy Collins hat. You know, some star-shaped sunglasses.
Well, Matthew, why were you inspired by the DK rap to make this game?
Here we go. So we should probably talk about this level. What's going on in this level, Michael?
Okay, so this level, you actually have a boss that does go for baton. The boss is told by the previous frog named Etude that if you hit those mushrooms, you can actually blind that boss. But the level itself was based off of, we want some... once I heard the music, it sounded very piratey to me, so I definitely want a pirate theme. So later on, you're going to get, like, you know, you got the sunken ship here, you're going to get a treasure map, you're going to get some pirate ghosts, you know, and some treasure, right? So I want it to be kind of a pirate theme going here, because why not? There's some examples of humans on this island, but they're long gone. That's kind of the point we want to make also in the story of Tadpole Treble.
And sea shanties are hot right now, man.
Oh yeah.
Sea shanties are a big thing.
They never went out of style, if you ask me.
I think
it's 1700.
So,
Oh no!
Turns out you shouldn't run into it.
You don't have to listen to us.
I know. I know.
I think y'all are slightly ahead of where I am, because I heard you all yelling, and then I saw Baton die. I was like, oh, that's what happened.
He's not dead. He's just sleeping.
No, he's programmed to be dead.
Yeah.
Okay, we're giving it another go. This is kind of when the game starts to ramp up the heat. What am I trying to say? Turn up the heat? I don't know. Ratchet up the difficult. It's starting
the volume
to
up to 11. There, that's a good.
Pump the volume up.
Oops.
Yeah, this one is actually very deliberately designed around the music, because I have this this part in the middle going do 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 do. So you have to actually cross through the dangerous notes to stay away from the Barracuda, who alternates, you know, top and bottom snaps.
I also have it to where the player, if you go for the bonus, you won't get snapped at.
That's true. The pink is always safe. Bubbles, pure water, which are those little sparkly areas.
Just be careful, TJ.
I'm nervous, man. I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I believe in him. I believe in TJ.
There we go.
You just got the rhythm inside.
Oops! Your belief was misplaced.
Oh.
Oh no. TJ.
I know. This time for reals. This time I'm actually gonna try.
That's for real.
Everybody in chat, send TJ your energy. And
Michael, do you have any hints that would help? Any gameplay tips?
Yeah. So if you get hit by the Barracuda, it does 3 damage instead of the typical 1. So if you think you're going to get chopped, hit a note, and then hopefully you'll at least take 1 damage and not 3. So that's a key, man. The key is stay away from that big gouging Barracuda right there. So the boss is
typically the food. You're gonna want to prioritize those.
Mm-hmm.
As much as possible.
Right, but he's getting it. He's getting it.
Yeah.
I believe in TJ. TJ's no scrub. Yeah, actually, speaking of sea shanties,
There it is.
In a band, and one of the things that
I heard you're in a band.
Yeah, but that old band, we had like a pirate song, and it was popular, and so we would go to like local, playground things, like events, and sing like pirate shanties for the kids and things like that.
Oh, that's fun.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't quite gotten to the pirate part. He died right when it started last time. The first half is very...
He's doing pretty well now. So this part's kind of very Jaws. It's a Psycho. It's got a little
Yeah.
So we want it to be
kind
kind
of a cellist song too.
Oops.
I wanted to get some live musicians.
Skankcore is really digging the music right now. And if you have any questions for our guests, just go ahead and ask them in the chat, and I will convey them. For now. And then, the other thing I love about this is you've got them going on a musical staff. Is this a treble clef? Is this a bass clef? Like, is this for horn section? Like,
that's actually a really good question. This is something we kind of we got the pirate part now. This is something we really had to talk about.
Yeah,
because sometimes the notes would go too high or too low below the playing field, and we'd think, okay, if we did this song, they're all going to be bunched down here or up here. So we use a bunch of different clefs. We use treble clef, but we also use like alto clef and some other like really. Hang on, I'm on the edge of my seat here.
Oh dear.
I'm drawn in by the drama.
If you hit those things, he won't attack you.
Ah!
There you go.
Oh!
What happened? I'm still behind. Oh, okay, I just saw it. I was ready to
I saw it now.
I overcompensated.
It was tragic.
12 toast. Tadpole Treble 2. When is it?
That's a good question. What is it, Michael?
This is it. This is Tadpole Treble 2. Tadpole Encore.
Dude,
I mean,
it's a sequel.
I don't know. It took us about 2 years to make 2.5 years to make a game. So.
Well, it's because we're sort of part-time developers, you see.
Right. Unless the game does well, we'll always be part-time.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we make $1 million, then hey.
Oh, that's not
make
good.
Tadpole Treble 2 in a year. We do $1 million.
TJ getting chomped.
It's a little trial, a little baptism by fire here.
No kidding.
It's tough to do a second Tadpole Treble 2 because I don't want to spoil it, but you would be a different version.
Shut up, Michael.
That's okay. I mean, I'm just saying. So it's. I guess you could technically do one. Maybe.
Just needs to involve tadpoles and trebles.
Right.
Hang on. My son keeps asking me for stuff. Sorry. Isaac.
Oh, good.
Okay.
All alone. Okay, someone else is asking about the lyrics.
Yeah, Garporian wants to know if it's maybe this is what, but what inspired the lyrics and style of the ELE song, the new level?
Oh, yeah, that's a little later. The okay, that was all Little Shop of Horrors, which is one of my favorite musicals.
Nice.
we originally. Oh, did we lose Michael? In there. Oh, there he is. We originally had. I really wanted to put a singing plant in the game, like an Audrey 2, hey baby, oh feed me kind of thing. But we had already. It didn't really work out for Piranha Jungle because I felt that it was too close to Thunder Creek, which is another stage with lyrics. We didn't want to have two back to back. So to compromise, we had the fly traps in that stage kind of sing back up. And then when we get to the final boss of the game, I'm trying to be vague here, but at that point I thought, you know what, this thing is going nuts. We can do a little shop style rock number here. So I did that, and I thought, if it's going nuts, we're gonna have some lyrics that are just all about, you know, having a party and being threatening, and I don't know, I just kind of wrote it around that, I guess.
So the other thing I wanted to bring up is Matt, your YouTube channel and all your Waluigi songs.
Oh yeah.
Is there any Waluigi inspired vocals in Tadpole Treble?
It is time for Waluigi. Oh, is he gonna make it? Hang on a second. A couple seconds. Right. Whoa!
Oh,
Nice.
Did you see that treasure chest closing on the Barracuda? That must have taken a long time to animate. Whoever did that is.
Must have been real talented.
You know what? I think I just realized I did not answer the previous question correctly. If they were asking about the new stage,
Yeah.
were they asking about the new stage, the new ELE stage?
Yeah, because they said the new level. It said
Oh,
the
okay.
level.
I'm sorry about that. That was okay. I feel like I'm running behind on my questions now because I gotta talk about Waluigi as well. All right, the new stage.
Oh, wait, Matthew, why don't you answer the question in Waluigi's voice?
Okay, here's what we did. First we thought, what did we do? Do you remember? I don't remember.
I think we went with a radio broadcast because it was supposed to be an advertisement.
Radio broadcast. All right, I can't keep this. So yeah, I'm trying to answer this question without revealing too much about the end game, but basically like we said earlier, we went into stage before the final boss that gave a little more context to everything, and we thought the best way to do that would be to have kind of an infomercial style song about how great this thing was. And when I started writing it, I thought, oh, okay, ELE, that's an acronym. It'd be fun to just have a song full of acronyms. So that's what I did. I thought of as many acronyms as I could, tried to shoehorn them all in, you know, BLT, WC, DLC.
I think we did the NBA too, but I don't think we got the rights to do it.
The NBA could be anything, man. It doesn't have to.
That's true, I guess.
What you're thinking of, it could be the National
Basketball Association.
Shut up! So, that's why I did that song. Now, there was a question about the YouTube videos. What was the question?
Yeah, like, is there any Waluigi style singing or anything?
Well, that technically came after this game. I pretty much did that just to kind of promote the Waluigi comics I was making, but they ended up being like a big hit. I was really surprised when I did the Hallelujah, like the Hallelujah like parody about Waluigi being left out of Smash Brothers. That got like 7 million views, which was crazy to me. It's like way more than anything else I've done. But by that time, we'd already made Tadpole Treble, so I didn't really. I don't know if there's actually any overt Waluigi references in this game.
Well, there you go, Tadpole Treble 2. There you go. You're gonna have. You're gonna have Wabatan.
Watan.
Wonton sounds very delicious for some reason.
I could go for some wontons.
Might go for wonton.
Especially, you're gonna need a little comfort food after getting your butt kicked in some of these levels to each.
Hey, not only did I eventually do it, but I got 69, which is just nice.
No, there you go. This is just nice. So this level should be a bit of a reprieve compared to the Barracuda, as evidenced by the festive music. This actually was it was inspired by Banjo-Kazooie, one of my favorite Nintendo 64 games. The musical stylings of Grant Kirkhope. I wanted to kind of get that sort of feel to it.
So kind of like you're doing a lot of like style homages, or would you consider them like style parodies?
Most of them probably not quite parodies. Maybe that Little Shop song I was talking about. A lot of times when I write a song, I think I don't want it to be too similar to other stuff I've written. So I'll listen to a bunch of different types of music and I'll think, oh, this kind of has a cool sound. You know, what's this? Oh, this is like Incan music or Andean music. I want to write a song like this in my game. You know, I'll get the pan flute. I'll look up like the different instruments that it uses and try to channel that kind of sound. And that a lot of times that's kind of how the thought process goes to keep it from getting too stale. You know, not like taking their melody, but listening to what the instruments do and what role they each play and how it gets a certain feel to it.
Yeah, you gotta dissect genres. That's like one of my favorite things to do as a musician is like figure out what makes a certain style of music that style of music, and you know what are the universal aspects of it, so to speak. Like I'm guessing that you have a background in music theory. Just taking a stab in the dark there.
It's a good guess. When I originally went to college, I couldn't decide between art and music, and I ended up going for graphic design. But my dad, you know, is a band teacher and a, you know, like Michael said, a composer of musicals, and he pretty much taught me almost everything I know about music. And I play piano on the weekends, so I'm still very much involved in making music, but I just don't have formal training, I guess you'd say.
But, so you're more self-taught.
A little bit, yeah.
So to speak. I mean, you know, it sounds like your folks influenced you quite a bit.
Yeah.
But, you know, just in general. That's awesome. And you guys both share a love of music, or?
Yes. So I play guitar, piano, trombone. I was in the LSU marching band and things of that nature. So the music's been, you know, kind of part of my life as well. And, you know, we wanted to put both together. We wanted to put music, which was our love, and we loved video games growing up. And we wanted to kind of put them both together into one product. So
nice. So this seems like a dream come true. What do you think of the sort of, like, you guys have had a while, sort of get feedback and, like, you know, hear from the community and stuff like that? Like, how's that been for you guys? And, like, is it inspiring you to continue with game development?
Matthew?
Well, it's always really satisfying to see people that enjoy the worlds and the characters that we make. You know, like it's kind of the main goal is I just want people to have fun and for the game to have some sort of lasting impression on them. That's a good experience. So I mean, I think that's some of the best aspects of game development is putting your work out there and seeing people enjoy the world and the characters you've created. So I'd really like to do it again sometime. It's just it's very difficult getting all the pieces to work together in tandem. You know, you have to have your programmers and your PR guys, and you know, even with Michael and I handling multiple jobs, there's still so many aspects that go into it. So you know, we definitely like to make more games in the future, but yeah. Michael, you got anything to add to that?
Sure. I think one of the goals of Matthew and I is to show that we love making like video games. We love people to have fun. Like for us growing up, we want to have fun when we create our own video games. So if we get that from people, that just makes our day. So it's really cool to read reviews and have people like play the game and they get kind of the same feel as what we get when we designed it. It makes you feel like, you know, there's some satisfaction there. And I think a lot of our reviews have been pretty positive, but it's not just positive. I think some people really have had a good time, have had fun playing our game. And for us, that's kind of the whole point. We didn't really go in to make a huge success. We went in to, you know, have you pick up a game, have you just appreciate you know what you're doing, and have you kind of forget about everything that's going bad and just kind of enjoy the ride, you know. And so I think a lot of people do enjoy that with Tadpole Treble.
Yeah, no, it's fun. Did you guys read our Shacknews review?
Yeah, we did. Thank y'all for that. It was an excellent review. So we enjoyed that. I know, you know, it just it's nice to, like, if people get like just the getting the different medals, for example, because I mean we designed the stage to get an F rank, so there's going to be food that's going to be out of reach, but it's there for you to get hit and to tally yourself, and because it's really hard to get an F and survive. So just having people like, having people like experience what the full game is makes us happy, because we go in thinking, you know, it'd be cool if we could actually, like, you know, go have a terrible ranking, but it's actually difficult to get it because you'll die. So and then right, and so you know, it just makes sense for us to have an S rank or the best rank, but it's like have the worst rank too. And so for us, it was fun to develop for, and it's nice that people enjoy that aspect of it. You know, so it's really nice when it all clicks. It just makes you happy. It makes you feel like you've done worthwhile. So for us, yeah, making games would be great to continue. It's just like Matthew said, a lot of pieces have to go into that puzzle.
You guys have ideas, I'm guessing, for what you'd like to do for your next project, if possible?
Yeah, we got a couple ideas, but I don't know.
You don't have to sneak them out now or anything. It's fine.
Yeah. We've gone into some detail, some with different pitches and things like that with different companies, because it'll be easy as an indie studio to have someone else produce it. So you know, sometimes you look for outside funding to continue production. So there's a couple different routes we can go, but yeah, we have a couple ideas, like Matthew's saying. Super secret.
Well, you know, in the meantime, you can just bask in the glow of your recent Switch launch. And then, yeah, how was the transition to Switch? What was that like for you guys? Like, and, you know, what was it like getting support from Nintendo? Because it's like obvious you guys love a lot of Nintendo games. And then you hear like, oh, your game is going to be on a Nintendo console. Like, you know, what's that moment like?
Well, Matthew almost blew it one time because Nintendo called Matthew. And he yelled at him. You want to tell that story, Matthew?
Oh, yeah, but we don't gotta. I don't want to get you guys in trouble.
No, it's fine.
It was because it was like 2000.
Oh dear.
Or something.
Oh.
I kept getting these spammy calls from people, like bots, you know, on my phone, like pretty much at all hours of the day. You know, I would get woken up from these. Oh no, she just died. I would get woken up all the time, and it began to drive me crazy. So I thought, you know, the next time this happens, I'm just gonna chew this guy out. So one day I get a call. It's some unknown number. I answer it and I say basically, Oh, you here to sell me insurance again? Oh boy, I love getting your calls all the time. Every day, every time, I'm trying to go about my day, and then I wait to hear a response, and I hear kind of this, and I say, oh, you're listening now, huh? Yeah, I don't want any insurance. Or you know what? Give me all the insurance. I'll take it all. And now I say something like, I don't know, if you call me again, I'll kill myself, or something ridiculous. And I slam the phone, you know. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's the end of that. So about 5 minutes later, I get an email from Nintendo. They said, we tried to call you, and I think I got a weird voicemail or something. Is this the correct number for Matthew Toronto of Bitfinity? And I thought, oh boy. So I had to call them back and say, oh, I'm so sorry about that. I've been getting these calls, and I thought you were someone else, and I would very much like to have my game on your system. So that's how we got Tadpole Treble on the Wii U.
Wow, that is a great story. That is fantastic. Holy cow! Well, I'm glad that they took it in stride.
What's that?
That is like out of like a sitcom or something though.
Yeah, it's like Curb Your Enthusiasm or something.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's definitely those like moments where someone's using the phone. They're like, what? Oh, something important.
Yeah. So, but it all worked out. I mean, we're here now.
Here we are. We're playing your game on the Switch.
Get a piranha gun. I mean, these piranhas are shooting fish at you. No. Michael.
Because that made sense. Yeah, it's fun to make a game because we said, you know what'd be fun if we had a gun that just shot piranhas. And we're like, yeah, that would be fun. We're like, why don't we do that? We have a game. We're like, okay. We were making the level.
We'll do it.
So it's like,
yeah, the idea was to make it different enough from the Barracuda, who's also pretty aggressive. We wanted to have these guys work together, and then the Piranha Gun idea came out. And we thought, yeah, okay, let's make it happen. Piranha Gun.
Did you ever think about having the song Barracuda for the Barracuda track?
Well, then we gotta start
royalties.
And, we blew our budget on composition mode, so.
What about Octopus's Garden by the Beatles? You know, that can't be too hard to like.
That can't be too bad.
Beatles? Who's that?
Oh, there's our singing fly traps I alluded to earlier.
Oops. Oh, we get
is that me and you, Michael? La 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 la. Is that us?
I think so. Hit the fruit. Oh,
there we go.
The fruit.
You got it. There you go.
Hit the fruit. I'm still a couple seconds behind y'all. You gotta hit the fruit or that fish is gonna eat you. Spoiler alert.
There we go.
Okay.
Oh, you made it. Barely.
Oh man, that was nerve-wracking.
Get that audio commentary.
I'm like 10 seconds behind. All right. Yeah, you see a little thunder creek. Michael, how much of the game should we see at this point?
I mean, whatever. Game's
easy.
out. I don't know. I mean, I guess the last two levels. I mean, he can keep playing though. He's got
Yeah, you got.
You're good.
Yeah.
You can play at least 2 more levels.
I say maybe not till I don't know. Maybe not till maybe up until Isle.
I was gonna say, because I could easily go back and try to do a little bit better on any one of these levels that I got a D on.
Nope, you forever have a D on it.
That's it. That's in your permanent record, TJ.
D
I
for.
want to see how he does on Thunder Creek anyway, though. I'm kind of curious to see how he does on Thunder Creek.
Should we save Thunder Creek for like the big finish then? That's a pretty
I
good.
can do that.
Finish.
That's a good stage.
I do want to give this one a go.
I like Saltwater Cape though, Matthew. That was one of my favorite levels to level design.
Oh yeah, because of all those layers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to. Let's go back to Rapids for a little more. This one messed with me the first time I saw it just because the backwards thing.
Yeah. We didn't really get the chance to talk about this level either, so.
Yeah, is this the only back?
Well, we alluded to the fact that there were humans in the game, and in this particular stage, you're going to get temples that love badgers. So apparently there were some native people on the island that just love badgers, and they just made badger temples, and there's an aqueduct and some traps in their temples. So it kind of tells a little story.
Yeah, and this stage obviously is pushing you backwards. So this is actually one of the hardest stages for me to get all the medals in. This one, whenever I was playtesting the game, it was always like, oh boy, okay. I really had to steel myself to get everything because there are some tight moments in it. But yeah, you got a little aqueduct here. This one is definitely about adventure and you got your Indiana Jones boulder.
You also collect gems in this one. There's a total of 4 gems. So there's one right there. If you collect all 4 gems, then you open up the secret portal in the temple, which gives you extra bonus, basically. So there's a little bit of adventure or treasure seeking in this one because it's very Indiana Jones inspired. There's another one up there, but you have to hit that second symbol.
Those badgers originally one-shotted you, but we took that.
We took that.
Badger tongue was stronger than everything else in this game's world, so we're like, okay.
That makes sense to me. Badger tongue's.
I mean, if they're anything like the rest of the badger, they're built Tonka tough.
Oh yeah, there you go.
You have to hit these bamboos to keep the rock away.
Yeah, or you can hit the rock.
Bamboo, you don't actually have to hit the bamboo. The first one is there to get the player to swing their tail, and then hopefully once they learn that they have to swing their tail to hit the rock, they will hit the rock. But
here's your badger temple, and inside you'll see there's a Metroid.
There's a Chozo nod.
Tanuki. There's a Mario Tanuki, right?
Nod, yeah, but you gotta hit the symbol. Oh, there it is. Yeah, you could see him for a second there.
And then Indiana Jones inspired, of course, with the rock and spears that never hit you, but
Nice, it's cool. Like you really drew a lot of influence from a lot of different perspectives, especially like when it comes to like the musical aspect of it. That's like pretty impressive. And you know, usually the people composing the game aren't also involved heavily in the development. So that's a lot of hats to wear right there.
Yeah, a little bit, but I mean, it was fun. The creative process is really my favorite part of this. You know, like it's fun being able to say, oh, just have a blank canvas and be like, okay, what's gonna happen in this level? You know?
well, Matthew wanted an Inca-inspired like pan flute song, and then of course that leads itself to the old Indiana Jones movies that were in South America with the temples.
Yeah, and we ended up carrying a lot of the kind of South American and Southwest sort of style across a few stages. It ended up being kind of like a sort of mini theme, like the map theme right here is got that kind of sound to it too.
Mm.
In fact, I think this map theme was originally gonna be Gusty Rapids until I wrote the new one.
There was an original map theme you came up with too.
Oh yeah, the one that doot, 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 and it sounded too much like the song
Brazil. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like to have the little shout outs in the game, but I don't want it to be like too pop culture-y, you know? I want it to still be its own world, not feel too tethered. Oh, you're tackling the caverns again.
Yeah, I want revenge.
He's just feeling like he could do better. I feel that.
I don't think he can.
Oh, jeez.
The developer of the game does not think he can do better.
We put that message in for kids when they die. We say we don't think you can do better. Give up. It's a little message of inspiration.
Oh no, and you got bit too, son.
Uh-oh.
Oh man. This is it's rough out there for a tap.
Oh yeah, no, don't go that way.
Oh
wait, that's right. I'm pretty far behind y'all. I keep forgetting that. I'm gonna refresh this and see if I.
Yeah, refresh. Ah.
Let's see.
Was this also designed to teach children just how harsh and cruel Mother Nature truly is?
It's to teach children how harsh music is. Music is hard. Writing it, dealing with it. We actually did try to. Well, no, actually, we were able to get it featured at the Michael. Which one? The Arts and Science Museum in Louisiana.
Yeah, we have a Arts and Science Museum in Louisiana. So there's a kids section, and they wanted the game displayed there. So right now, kids of all ages are playing it at the.
I think we have this level
Museum
in there too, Michael.
Yeah, well, they have to learn.
Why did we put Acuna cameras?
Because it's a cool level.
Kids need to learn. Well, it is a cool level, but I mean, you know, if this is your first rodeo, in
no, they start with Tadpole Pond. There's Chiptune, there's Tadpole Pond, Chiptune Lagoon, and then this one. And so if they really want to keep playing, then you know, they'll learn the ropes before they get there. It's not too hard.
I'm curious. Matt, like, would you ever just compose for a game at this point?
I have actually done a couple of other, like, you know, compositions for games that aren't mine. One is by Josh Haino, who worked with us at the Tech Park, where we developed Tadpole Treble. He did a game called Nefarious, which is also on the Switch.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's a cool action game where you play as the villain and kidnap princesses. And it tells a pretty neat story. It's got a fun cast, and I did like maybe 75% of the music for that game. And I did one for another game by another buddy of mine, Cody Louvier. Michael, how do you pronounce it?
Louvier.
It's a French class. Louvier, yeah. And, Louvier, yeah. He did a sort of a Steam game, sort of like an action sports game called Necroball, which was fun to write a couple songs to as well. I got to like channel a little bit of Castlevania for that.
Matthew, did you want to mention any of your other projects?
I have a Kickstarter coming up that is not a game, but it is ooh. Oh. Sorry, I was watching Baton get eaten.
That first symbol is like, oh, that one's tough for me to get to.
Yeah, you gotta like.
If you hold it, you go faster. So if you move up and down, you hold it down, you actually go faster. There's your little hint. So if you jet, sometimes you can jet, like you can hold up and down, and you'll go really quickly or smoothly.
Oh, I see. Didn't work, but I see.
There you go. Oh no! You went too far up. You get the feel for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I haven't revealed what the next project is, but it's gonna be early-ish February. I'm gonna launch a Kickstarter for it. So
Nice.
And that will be that's something I'm pretty excited about. I can't say too much about it yet, but I'm working with someone that you may have heard of. I'll just say that.
Okay. Well, that's not vague at all. Someone I've heard of.
Someone you may have heard of.
Is it Quincy Jones? It's Quincy Jones, isn't it?
It's a good guess. It's a good guess. I'm not saying yes or no. So we'll
Probably Quincy Jones. That's all I'm saying.
You got live here from the Shacknews.
Might be Quincy Jones. Probably not. But maybe.
Probably not, but possibly. He ain't saying no.
No. I'm looking forward to. Well, yeah. Let us know when that's going live.
Yeah.
And, give us a holler. We'll see what's up.
I will. I will. It'll be just a couple weeks from now.
Couple weeks. Okay, we'll wait. I suppose.
Yeah.
We won't prod you anymore on the live stream at least. But I'm digging for information afterwards.
Sure.
So, yeah, man, this is good times. This This game is adorable.
Well, thank you.
And it sounds like you got a creative community surrounding it, and all sorts of good stuff. Let's talk a little bit about, did you always know there was going to be you were always going to give the people the tools that they need to make their own levels, or?
That was originally a stretch goal, and I think the first stretch goal was for the Wii U, and the second was for composition mode. I don't believe we hit them, but we did hit the Wii U one, but we didn't hit the composition mode one. But I really wanted it in the game, so we just made it happen regardless.
Right.
We put our own money towards it because I wanted to beef up the game a little bit with something beyond the adventure mode, and it seemed like a really good fit.
Nice. Awesome.
For us, we initially had QR codes which you can share, but we're kind of with the Switch there's no camera.
Mm-hmm.
So with the Wii U you could share them, and in this game, in the actual Tadpole Treble Encore, it does generate the QR codes, but we just never show them because there was no real point. But we may one day consider patching it to perhaps show the QR codes. So this way, at least if you want to take a picture, you can always reload it with your Wii U version or Steam version.
Yeah. And of course, that's in the composers available on every version.
Yeah. You can write the song, and any version you want, you can have access to the composition mode.
That's awesome. Well, let's see, guys. We're coming up. We're slowly ever inching towards top of the hour. And before we go, I just want to make sure that we get all the right plugs in for Tadpole Treble Encore. This is available now on the Switch. There's also a Steam version, but this has got a few more bells and whistles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Got new unlockables, portable play, new stage, and it looks better, I would say.
It does look better. We updated it.
It also has no loading, but we lost that little animation for the loading that I like. So
we have less compression on the actual sprite sheets, so that provides more of an HD feel for it.
Mm-hmm.
And also we have a Twitter. Matthew has a Twitter.
Yeah, I'm on Matthew P. Toronto. It's just my name. You can do that to keep track of any of the stuff I'm doing from, previously it was for Brawl in the Family and Waluigi Time, and now it's Tadpole Treble, and soon it will be another thing next month, another project, and I've got some future projects for even next year that I'm planning. So you can follow me there. And Michael, we have a Tadpole Treble
Encore
official
Twitter. Yeah, the official Tadpole Treble Encore Twitter page. And there's a Facebook page too for Tadpole Treble.
Yep. So should we close with Thunder Creek after this run of Chiptune Lagoon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the way to do it.
Good finish.
You got this, TJ. I think. Maybe.
I like that spotlight. We made it to where in some levels you're spotlighted at certain points in the song where it's like got a solo or and you get a more determined look.
Things are getting intense.
Things are getting intense in the level. So there's a little kind of spotlight shines up on you.
Yeah, we had a guitarist come in and kind of improvise a solo there. We gave him the chords. And then
oh man, look at him go.
Wow.
There it is.
You did it.
That's some good Tadpole Treble, and then
you did it.
And indeed, I actually tried to save just enough time for this last one, the Thunder Creek.
Thunder Creek. This is one of the first songs I wrote for the game, but it was a lot of fun to. In fact, our lead singer was he played Jean Valjean in like the local production of Les Miserables, and he had this kind of country voice. So I was like, let's get this guy to sing the lead vocals, while Michael and I did the backup vocals for this.
Let's do it.
Oh yeah, here we go. Thunder Creek. Are you ready, TJ?
I think.
You were born ready. Here we go. Look at that cowboy hat.
It's a little monologue at the beginning too.
Yeehaw!
Oh, this one was also kind of inspired by Donkey Kong Country Returns with the silhouette aspect.
Tadpole Treble, Texas style.
Oh yeah.
There we go. Oh man, country music.
the silhouette, the dusk.
Gotta have your silhouette level.
Mm-hmm.
Running country music is always a challenge to me. At least I'm not good at it.
So each of those snails sings a syllable of the song.
I know you're gonna complain about this one.
Yes, I'm gonna complain about it. Matthew, because we want to make it very Disney-like, right? It's a Disney style. Matthew made me go through each snail and make sure it says each syllable of the song that's singing. So technically the snails are singing. I hope you enjoy the snails singing the exact syllables. I'm just letting you know.
It adds a lot, I think. If you're not watching your character through this notoriously
Or no one noticed it. And I spent hours doing it.
But that's how it works, right? You do
Right.
it so well that nobody even notices you did anything.
There you go. That's true. It's like Foley, It's like having sound effects.
Matthew, you knew exactly what I was gonna say.
This is
Yeah,
all these levels are just so like absolutely different too.
Whoa.
That's another great.
We wanted the player to have a different experience with each level. In fact, this level in particular, we had an idea where you collected throughout the level a cowboy suit. So you would like collect a hat, and by the end you had like a holster and stuff. But we just decided not to.
Oh, that would have been rad.
Yeah.
These pistol shrimp are a Kickstarter creature as well. We had fun with them, especially putting the bullet holes on the screen right there.
DJ, you gotta stop getting hit by these underwater pistol shrimp.
It's a real animal. It'll shoot. Everything in this game is a real animal, actually, except the last boss, I guess. It'll shoot. It'll shoot like highly concentrated. Oh. Am I still
Yeah. Everyone's like, ooh. Matthew's like, ooh.
Just talking about stuff. Going on my merry way. All right, we're gonna give it one more go.
We are gonna give it one more go. It can be done.
We made the symbols in here have a unique sound effect. I think they make gongs, a gong sound whenever you hit them, and then
the spittoon.
And then spittoon. There's a spittoon. Ding. There's one that says spittoon there.
Yeah, that one I really like. And the bamboo actually makes the whip. Because I mean, you gotta have that in your Western song,
Yeah. Spittoon's whips.
Oh, wait, the gong is on the first bamboos.
The first couple bamboos, and then they would replace them with whips.
You need a little vibrato on the guitar. You need that. You need those whip cracks. A couple of horse neighs. Good horse neigh is always good for a song. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm whistling at the beginning because you need your whistle.
Matthew, did who did the trumpet?
That was Dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I did the trumpet in a few of these songs.
Nice. So it's a real family affair.
Oh yeah, we got. Did Mom play the no? Mom played the clarinet for Nefarious, not for. But you do hear Mom at the end. During the credits, you hear a bunch of the backers sing this song at one point, which was fun. So. All right, make sure you hit all the cymbals.
There it is.
No pressure.
You got this, TJ.
Yeah, I'm kind
I
of
believe in you.
Matthew, is he gonna hit the Easter egg? Do you think?
You do the Easter egg. Do it. People are gonna be like, "What?"
All right. At the end of the pistol shrimp, there's a crossbones at the bottom. I'll tell you when to go down.
Yeah, you tell them because you're timed up with it better. It's one of those stupid things that I feel like no professional company would ever put in their game, but we will. So.
Well, that's the nice thing. Now you're the professionals and you're doing it. So.
Oh, okay. So we've set the new standard.
There you go. Oh, down. Oh, I missed it.
Oh, in the middle of the cymbal theme?
It was a crossbone.
Ah!
It lures you away deliberately. Because
it's a secret.
Ooh. Well, now kids are gonna have to go download Tadpole Treble Encore for the Switch and play it through themselves to find the secret.
You can hit those bones.
Smack the bones.
Smack the bones. Why are we here? Because we're here to smack the bones.
I don't want to see him die. I want to see Etude pop up. I gotta see Etude.
Alright.
Who's gonna do it? Oh man. A little bit with a little Mortal Kombat nod right there.
Oh yeah, I guess it is a little.
Ah, sad. I wish I had that last symbol. That's what it means. Oh.
59 bubbles, nice.
That was a wonderful level.
Thanks.
And that seems like a nice natural place for us to wrap.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
there's more after that, but that's all y'all get for now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Matthew and Mike, thank you so much for stopping by today. Yeah, go ahead and give those sweet social media plugs one last time.
All right, thanks guys for joining us. I'm Matthew Toronto. You can find me at Matthew P Toronto on Twitter. We have a Bitfinity YouTube where I put up all sorts of crazy things, and this is Tadpole Treble Encore, just released for the Nintendo Switch. Michael?
And I'm Michael Toronto. You can find us on bitfinitygames.com or tadpoletreble.com. And thank you for watching our game.
All right, and
Hey, have a good one.
of course, yeah, you can follow us here on Twitch. You can give us a sub if you feel like it. Maybe you've got Twitch Prime Gaming or whatever they call it now. And you got those sweet Bezos bucks. Feel free to give them to us if you feel so inclined. We really appreciate it. Let's see. You can also maybe go to shacknews.com, check out our review of Tadpole Treble Encore, catch up on all the live streams we're going to be doing this week. Read some articles, some news, it'd be great. And then you can also subscribe to Mercury while you're there. We don't have any ads on our site except for one that features an adorable little Pomeranian pupper named Lola. She is our CEO and chairman of the board. Click on that. She'll take you to Mercury. Mercury is our subscription system, so you can sub for as little as $1 a month, which is less than a cup of coffee a day, guys. And or you can give more. And if you give more, you might get cool things like T-shirts and hoodies. Just some sweet exclusive Shacknews swag. Depends on which platform or which tier you're going for, rather. So please check that out. Follow us on Twitter. Again, yes, Shacknews is back on Twitter at Shacknews. We're also on Facebook. Like us there. Go check out our YouTube and watch our YouTube videos, Shacknews Games and Gamer Hub videos. And we really appreciate all the support. Stick around. The Wide World of Electronic Sports is coming up in about 30 minutes. I'll be back there hosting that, talking about all this week's esports and good things. So there you have it, guys. Thank you so much again to our guests, Matthew and Mike, and of course, TJ. This is your show, so I'll let you
Yes, this has been TJ Denzer, news editor for Shacknews. This has been Indylicious. As always, thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you to Bitfinity for coming on to join us in this special episode. I always like it. It is my passion to bring indie games to everybody, and to have y'all on here to actually share the game with us in real time was fantastic. I really appreciate it. And to y'all, all of you out there, take care, have fun, play more indies. This is Shacknews, TJ Denzer, signing off.